All right, everyone. As of Monday, New Jersey is considering the possibility of passing legislation to legalize marijuana in that state. That's fairly important. Being right next to New York City helps. New Jersey, relatively populated. It is a blue state, although they had Chris Christie as governor. Maybe he smoked weed. That's why he was like this. He had his own gravitational pull. He smoked so much and then he'd get the munchies, and he just couldn't fucking help it anytime he was in public. He was stuffing his face on the taxpayer dime. Could be the fact that he never got exercise, like, had to be limousined everywhere. Double wide limousine for fat-ass Christie. Here's the thing. I fully support marijuana legalization. The idea of putting someone in prison for smoking a plant, it really is totally moronic. I extend it further. There was actually an article I saw that was posted the other day where it's beginning to seep into the missing link media, the idea that all of these substances should be legal. It shouldn't start and end with marijuana. I think that that's going to be a natural trend. I think as people realize that, when they look at all the propaganda about pot for the last fucking century, and they realize how wrong it all was, they're going to start thinking about other substances, and the groundwork's there. Scientific and medical studies have already shown a lot of these other substances people are so worried about, they're not social ills. The psychedelics, by and large, are not addictive. There are plenty of substances in that group as well that are medicinal in nature. Psilocybin for quitting smoking has been implicated. Certainly long-term depression treatment. Ecstasy has been implicated in that, as well as, I think, the treatment of certain other disorders. Marijuana, certainly well recognized in civilized society as a medicinal thing. Although it doesn't cure cancer, and it won't cure your glaucoma, so stop making those claims. But it can certainly help you keep food down if you're on chemo. It can certainly help with the secondary effects of AIDS medication and some of these other things. Cannabis oil for seizure disorders are remarkably good at treating these things. Some of these, they're not even psychotropic in nature. It's just an extraction from the plant of certain chemicals that happen to really suppress seizures really, really well. Yeah, your kid has 20 seizures a day. You can either give them this thing that won't even get them high and they'll have one seizure a year instead and they'll be able to develop normally and have, somewhat of a good life. Or you can watch them suffer because illegal. It's a gateway drug. You gave your kid some extract from an illegal plant, therefore they're going to become a coke fiend next year. That's not the way that the world works. But even if they become a coke fiend, the likelihood of them getting fucked over because they get addicted to coke is less than the likelihood of the drug war fucking them up if it's illegal. In all honesty, if you were to legalize all these substances, yes, you'd have more overdoses. You'd have more dependency, at least, in some cases. Although I think you could simply divert a lot of funds to addiction treatment. It would pretty much equal out. And in fact, it might be a net positive. Certainly cost less. That may be true, but ultimately, you'd be saving a lot of lives that are lost because you put people in prison. Again, I've used the analogy. Harold the Happy Hippie goes in, he's got like a pound of weed, they put him away for a year. Now Harold the Happy Hippie learns about how to jiggle locks and hotwire cars and how to make a shiv and all these other wonderful things that Harold never knew he could make money off of as marketable trades. Now Harold the Happy Hippie exits jail. He's got hepatitis, several tattoos, and a gang affiliation simply out of self-preservation. He's also probably addicted to cigs. He's probably addicted to multiple substances. Because what else are you going to do in jail? Huh? You going to sit there and fucking draw all day? No, Harold the Happy Hippie can't get weed as easily, but he can probably get pills. Yeah, smuggled inside some dude's asshole. So now Harold is addicted to opiates. Wonderful for Harold. Yeah, you've just made a hardened criminal. Now you went into prison for some small-time thing, and so you came out as a bitter ex-con. That's not routinely the case, but in some cases, yes, you've ruined the person's life. You've certainly made it harder, because now they get out, they can't get a normal job. They become a pariah. It's sort of like when someone becomes an online persona and gets like deplatformed. They get defamed by the Wall Street Journal as though they were a Nazi or something. They can't hold a normal job. Not unless they find some hardcore audience member that happens to own a small business. Like, hey, yeah, we need a new baker. You want to train or something? Yeah, it'd be hilarious. You can bring in your YouTube play button and fucking put it up on the wall. We'll be the tech bakery. Definitely have very, very fast Wi-Fi signal. Don't worry about it. Other than that, how are you going to fucking get a job? You know, a lot of us have been boxed in by that. That's why we fight tooth and nail against censorship. Sort of self-preservational after a while. The drug wars is ridiculous. It always has been. It's never helped anyone. Name a person that's been helped by the drug war that isn't a prison warden or the CEO of a private prison or a corrupt fucking police commissioner. You know, all those beat cops, they have to go and break someone's door down at 4 a.m. because someone smelled weed. I'm sure they'd rather go catch a rapist or beat up a murderer or find a den of child molesters. I'm sure that they would rather go after actual criminals because some of those dudes smoke weed too, dude. You think that the cops around here sometimes don't use marijuana? You know, they make sure that they know from the police chief when the random drug testing is going to be. By the way, why do we even drug test for marijuana anymore? It's legal in half these fucking states. Fuck, it's legal in Alaska because there's nothing else to do there but drink and smoke marijuana, I guess. Alaska's got some problems. I can't imagine. It's like you get all these tax breaks and like I think they get a stipend because of the oil industry. Like, don't they get like 9,000 free fucking bucks a year? Like, if you go to Alaska, it's like, hey, you live in Alaska, you get free money or something. I think that's maybe some Alaskan subscriber can tell me. Is that actually the case? Maybe I ought to move there. I don't think there's an in-state income tax rate either. Maybe I should go there and build just a really big greenhouse. That'd be funny. It'll definitely be oil powered. No worries about that. I'll put a little pipe, you know, in the side of the main pipeline. I'll have a little spigot and I can fill up, you know, a keg of oil and dump it in the generator or something. Be a funny existence. You live in an igloo with a big greenhouse attached to it. That's how I'm gonna live my life. It's gonna be wonderful. Now, but New Jersey, by the way, not a state I would ever move to. They're definitely high taxed. There are definitely problems associated with being in a blue state. Trust me, I live in Vermont. I know all too fucking well. But this is one thing that the blue states really are taking the fore on, which is legalization. If Trump wants to score massive political points, rob the blue states of taking the fore by taking the fore yourself. He's already alluded to supporting medical pot. He's like, well, a state should decide. He should come out and he should say, fundamentally, I think this state should legalize. I'm going to leave it to them, but they should legalize. I encourage Republican governors, if you're confronted with the legislation, sign off on it. The time is now. The drug war is winding down. It hasn't worked. Let's take that money and put it towards the infrastructure projects I wanted to do. The bridges and the roads and the airports that I talked so much about for 2 fucking years while campaigning for the presidency and have for several years hence. Why don't we do that? The drug war costs so much money. It's so dumb. Again, oh yes, this 15-year-old has a joint. We'd better train a gun on him in the middle of the night. Fucking say, get the fuck on the ground, motherfucker, or we're gonna blow your head off because you're a hardened criminal. We're gonna treat him just like an axe murderer. That's, you know, scare the living shit out of him is so that he literally shits his pants. It's a good thing for society. We're gonna be like the Cleavers and shit. That's about all. Peace out.